A recording from Hunter Biden's laptop, recovered by the Washington Examiner, shows the president's son boasting over his influence over the elder Biden. Let's listen.
He'll talk about anything that I want him to, that he believes in. If I say this is important to me, then he will work a way in which to make it a part of his platform. My dad respects me more than he respects anyone in the world, and I know that to be certain. So it is not going to be about whether my dad thinks it's going to affect his politics. No, it won't. It's not going to be whether or not he's going to be embarrassed of me. He never will. It's not going to. All of those concerns that you have with all of the people that you know, that are the children of, I have none of them.
He speaks so eloquently about his ability to dictate his father, the President of the United States, policy preferences.
Why would you record yourself ever talking about anything if you don't have a podcast?
That's a great.
Do you have a Spotify point. Deal? No?
Then don't
why
do
are
it.
you,
Then
why
don't
are you
do
pressing record? Look, the idea that a parent is influenced by their child or that cares about their child's opinion is not the craziest thing. Their adult child. It's not the craziest thing. We talk about Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan and the hand behind the crown and the wife behind the voice and all of these kinds of things in a million contexts. That's not what's so outrageous. What's so outrageous is that we know who Hunter Biden is. We know that he has led a somewhat troubled life, and this ties into the broader concerns about what was going on in Ukraine, self-dealing of those kinds of things. Learning about also from the hard drive that apparently he spent more than $200,000 a month from October 2017 through February 2018 on luxury hotel rooms, Porsche payments, dental work, and cash withdrawals. Doesn't look good and just continues to raise speculation.
Do we know who he was talking to there? Because the other thing, you have to be a little careful or a little credulous because, he can be overstating his influence for whatever advantage.
For whatever advantage. I mean, that is not the question. He at least is under the impression that he can somehow get traction or get credibility or get something from whoever he's talking to.
There's no real question. Hunter Biden is bought and sold. Hunter Biden is peddling influence on behalf of, other governments or companies or potentially nefarious things. That's pretty established. Now, just because he says he can peddle influence doesn't necessarily mean he actually can. But who knows? Maybe he can.
It's not a good look, as the kids say.
No, it's not good. And also, look, Joe Biden, especially at this stage in his life, of so many years, does not seem like he doesn't come across as if he has, very extremely rigidly defined views and policies and is not susceptible to persuasion, right? He comes a little bit across he says things all the time to the effect of, well, they tell me I have to exit the stage now. He gives the impression that he's an old guy who's doing what he's told by more informed handlers. That's the impression he gives people.
Kind of. Although I do think that when he says that, that's actually Biden doing what he wants. Because what Biden will do is he's clearly being told, don't say this, but what Biden will do is say, I'm not supposed to say this, but have you seen how many biracial TV commercials there are? He will say what he wants to say. He cannot be stopped. He's just going to do a little caveat beforehand.
So many biracial TV commercials. We're saved. We're saved. Everything's fine. Don't worry about the gas prices. It's the biracial TV commercials.
Look, maybe he'll tune into Rising so he can get a little eyeful of it. Apparently he likes to see.
Biracial TV hosting going on. Amazing. All the progress we've made. But my point being, if you wanted to give the impression that, no, you're never going to listen to your idiot son's ridiculous pitch to give money or do whatever, you would not behave the way he behaves. Regardless of whether it's true that he is whatever susceptible level to Hunter Biden. Maybe he's not susceptible at all, but he does not, his presence does not suggest that.
Yeah. I will say this. When Trump was in office, there was a frustration among liberals that no matter how many stories about his family or his past and self-dealing came down the transom, it didn't seem to affect his popularity. It didn't really capture the national interest. And Democrats really lamented this. Nothing will stick. They were very frustrated by it. It does seem to be the case that we live in such an ethical morass throughout all of politics, the stories like this, apart from some chatter on the right and contributing to the generalized frustration with Joe Biden, I don't think are moving anybody's needle and don't really matter.
True. That's true. Yeah,
So,
I mean,
equality.
Right. Spare me if you're like, oh yeah, I'm a one-issue voter. My voter is nepotism, and I can't stand the nepotism going on, and so Trump's my guy.
Yeah. We'll get some
I'm not gonna
single-issue
take
voter
that,
Hunter Biden's face.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that
made.
very seriously. In fact, if what you were concerned about was nepotism in the 2020 election, man, you did not have good options. You were probably a third-party voter. You were staying at home. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have to see. And I don't know that, right, Hunter Biden stuff can become a sideshow many times because how important is it really? And yes, the Trump's family stuff is just overwhelmingly embarrassing in many of the same ways, if not much more.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's still interesting, and it's what motivates a lot of Republicans, so we're going to keep hearing about it, even though, I think your general voters who are maybe going to vote Republican for the first time or are coming back to the party after Trump or whatever are right. It's not because of Hunter Biden. It's because of the gas prices and other things like that.
I'd be interested to see if someone could enter into politics and be a kind of moral voice. There was this moment where we thought maybe Mitt Romney was going to be an ethical Republican because of his Mormon upbringing. There are these moments where you think, is someone like Marianne Williamson going to enter the fray and become a spiritual leader and talk to those parts of American society that have been really kind of underserved by politics recently and make people feel like there is a country to come back together to. I still do think if there is an outsider who gains traction in this country, it might be on that basis, not some techno corporate type, but somebody who can satisfy what I do think is a sincere desire not to have to be in the muck all the time.
Well, the name I'm about to suggest does not satisfy any of the criteria you just laid out whatsoever, but it's kind of tangentially related. I learned this just maybe this morning while I was getting ready. I suspected this, but didn't quite know that Ron DeSantis is not as far as political candidates go, is not particularly wealthy. Mm-hmm. He has student loan debt.
I did see that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. He doesn't come from this very wealthy dynasty type scenario. So it's a kind of, and obviously Biden didn't either when he started out, but he's been in office.
He talks about not being able to afford medical bills for his son.
True.
Barack Obama, I believe, didn't pay off his student loans until he became a senator, and his book started to sell at that point, and then he was able to use the proceeds. Hey, let's get them all on the show and talk about why we should cancel their student debt. I'm on board.
We're going to cancel Ron DeSantis.
Cancel Ron DeSantis.
I know you would be willing to do it in order to get it done.
And if he gets rich, we'll tax him on the back end and make it up.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, tomorrow on Rising, the FDA is weighing in on whether or not to give COVID vaccines to babies and young kids. We'll discuss that with experts on the issue.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are available anywhere you listen to podcasts in podcast form.
Yeah, so check that out. And we will, of course, be back tomorrow, which I just said, and I'm repeating again.
We're just so excited to be back, Robby. We've missed you. It's been a long time.
It was fun being back. I had a fun time at this conference. Met a lot of fans of our show, actually.
Yeah?
People came up to me, said they watch and listen to Rising, which is always nice to hear.
It's always nice to hear. We appreciate you all. And
they like you too, Briahna.
I'm sure some of them do.
I'm sure I could go to some conference that maybe you're a part of where we'd have a mixed reception on Robby. But
look, I love all of the audiences. They challenge us and they make us better.
That's right. That's a good way to think about it.
We'll be back with you all tomorrow. Take care.